Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca Norton, and for my Methods of Math class, I'm going to be talking about an article called Strategies for Basic Fact Instruction. To start off, the article kind of talked about like what we do now. We all are in agreement, the people, the community, the teachers, the principals, everyone's in agreement that we need basic fact instruction to operate in math in the future and in real life situations. But the way we teach math and basic fact instruction is wrong right now. It's basically all what we are doing now is skill and drill activities and asking students to memorize the facts, not to make sense of the facts. So the article kind of started off by talking about the traditional way, as they called it, which is skill and drill activities. A major downside to doing this strategy is that these um, these skill and drill activities, the memorization, induce math anxiety in many students. So if they don't know the facts or they haven't memorized the facts, then they're getting stressed out. They don't know, so therefore causing anxiety even at a young age in math, and it just progresses over time. So the article then went into talk about like the different strategies we should use to help students with basic fact instruction and basic fact skills. So it was one of the things that was giving students problems without showing them the process. So recently in math, we watched a video of, I think he was a teacher in China or somewhere in Japan, somewhere like that, giving students uh, addition or subtraction problems uh, with 3 and 2 digit numbers, but not giving them the answer, but not the process. So they would have to figure that out. And I think this is a good example of what we should do in our classrooms so that students know how they're getting their answer and understand why they're getting this answer. Another thing the article talked about was communicating with other students. So this once the students have figured out how to get the answer, the article talked about letting them share with their classmates how they found it. So just communicating. This is also ties in with English language arts because they are developing those language skills and communicating with their classmates to help them and also help themselves because they're talking it out. And then the last major strategy the article talked about was just giving students the opportunity to use objects or their fingers or as an object to solve simple addition and subtraction. That way they're getting like that visual of like, oh, 5 plus 4 is 9 because they can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So I read this article because I'm an early childhood major and I felt like this is something that is really stressed. Basic facts are really stressed in early childhood, so I wanted to best equip myself with the information. So after reading this article, some things that I'm going to do in my classroom to help my students is, like I said, doing that method that the Japan teacher showed us, like giving them the answer, not necessarily with 3 and 2 digit numbers, but just even normal numbers, like just so they can figure out the patterns and then they understand the problems. That way we can not cause anxiety in our classrooms and they can feel like they have accomplished something because they've done it themselves. It's not the teacher saying, okay, 5 plus 2 is 7, you need to memorize that. It's more of just the students are figuring out the patterns of addition and subtraction on their own, and then they feel more confident and they're proud of themselves because they are doing it themselves. They're not getting told to memorize facts. So just giving them the answer, not the process, is something that I'm definitely going to use in my classroom. And then I think a lot of group work will be good for students, even like on simple things. Like often teachers don't think of using group work in math because that's cheating. But honestly, like if students are working together and it's more student led than teacher directed, I think that they're going to learn more themselves and they will be able to like just share their knowledge with their peers, and that'll help those students who are struggling themselves And so the teacher or the students are teaching other students, but they're also learning through themselves. So I definitely think like using group work a lot in just small group instruction is going to be something that's really going to be important in my classroom, especially in math. And then just having the materials for students to use while counting. So using Unifix cubes, using just different objects. Like they can even use rocks if they wanted to count. And just showing them how to count on their fingers. One last thing I forgot to mention earlier. The article actually talked about not doing modeling in the classroom. They said that modeling can actually like I think it goes with like the being the teacher, because if you show them how you do it, they'll think that they need to do it that way. So just like I said earlier, giving them the answers, not the process, will be a really good thing. So just I don't think I'm going to use as much modeling as I thought I would before reading this article, just because I want my students to come up with the answers on their own, or not the answers, the process on their own. That way they feel proud and confident in their math skills. And I believe that this will actually give them more success in the future, because they'll know how to do the basic facts and not they're not memorizing it and they're not rote counting. They're actually understanding like what they're doing. So I think that's really important, and I'm really glad I read this article.